Hi, this is Mika, and welcome to Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft-related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today, drum roll please, what is this? I don't know. I wanted to announce that I'm actually going to be going live on Halloween, or Samhain, however you want to say it. So, yeah, I'm going to be going live for the first time. Leap Taken will be live. It'll be a little bit of an extravaganza, if you will. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to perform a ritual. I'm going to do my own personal tarot reading. You can follow along. I'm going to give links throughout this week for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, so you would already have it prepared between this week and next week, before, you know, the actual big day. Setting up an altar just specifically for the holiday. I'll be doing an ancestors prayer, serving witchy cocktails, some magically infused snacks, and I'll get to that momentarily. And yeah, just having some fun, just talking about the day, and yeah, maybe even a couple surprises. But you know, we'll see. People funny, you'll see. We'll see. Anyway. But it's all just about celebrating the day, so that's what it's about. So I'm going to be doing all these things anyway, so if there was no camera rolling, this is going to be happening in my home. But I wanted to share. That way, if especially in the times that we're in now, it's kind of difficult to really gather and do things. So, you know, if you want to watch my channel, it'll be a bit of a party atmosphere. Not too crazy, but you know what I mean. A little bit of food, a little bit of beverage, a little bit of ritual, a little bit of dead, a little bit of celebration of life, a little bit of everything. Now, along with that, so basically what I'll be doing is breaking down how to celebrate, at least from my perspective, the day, Samhain, you know, and make it unique. You can find a lot of information in books. I'm even including resources down in the description for this one, if you want to kind of read up and get a little bit more acquainted on what exactly is happening on that day, or what's supposed to be happening on that day. So look in the description for some books you can easily get on Amazon. Also, I kind of want to provide a sense of community. Well, not kind of, I do. I want to provide a sense of community where us witches can gather. You know, this is our day. It's the Witches' New Year. So, you know, all that jazz, all that stuff. We're going to be talking about all of that when I go live. So how do you prepare? Well, all this week, all my videos, for the most part, are going to be about preparing, or how I prepare. And if you want to play along and, you know, do what I do, that's cool too. But how I prepare, whether it's getting the right incense, whether I'm making them, I'm still working on that because I'm trying to gather supplies and I'm having a little bit of trouble. So I shall see. We'll see how that works out. But I'd like to ultimately prepare my own incense. I have some things, I don't have everything, and I'm running into a bit of trouble. And I wanted to post that video up on Wednesday, so we'll see. Might be down later in the next week. I don't know. Altar supplies. So setting up a Samhain altar. So you can set up an ancestor altar if you don't have it already. This is the perfect time to do it if you would like to do that now. Great time to celebrate that. But I'm going to do just a little something for the season, for the day, and use that altar as a kind of overall space to commune with the dead. So there's that. So I had a video about Pagan Prayer. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you can follow along. I'll share with that again later this week, about setting up a prayer just for, you know, to the ancestors in celebration and reverence, to venerate, what have you. So we'll be doing that. Oh, and get your supplies for the witchy cocktail. So I'll announce the drinks of choice that I know I'm going to be gathering. So I need to get everything ordered and everything ready to go. So that's coming sooner rather than later, so check out for that video. So with all this stuff, I don't really go on a whole thing about like and subscribe my videos in the beginning, but please like and subscribe the videos, and also hit that little alert bell so you'll know this week and next week leading up all the little cool stuff that I talk about, just so if you kind of want to, get ready, even if you don't watch me, but you kind of, you want to add a little spice to the day, and you want to do something, and you're just not sure what, and everything else seems a little, for lack of better words, corny. It doesn't seem real, doesn't resonate with you. We could do this. We make it our own. You make it unique. That's what I do. Make sure you have tarot cards ready, or whatever you choose for divination. I'm going to be using tarot cards. I'm going to be doing a spread. The other thing is intentions, your goals, your desires. Along with this is a great time to think about what do you want from a magical perspective, from a witchy perspective, for your craft. What do you want to explore? What do you want to? What are you intending to happen? Do you want more power? Do you want more powerful spells? Do you want more successful spells? This is the Witch's New Year, so this is the time to sort of think about all of that, and we can make this a part of the ritual as well. Yes, a lot of people think, oh, it's about the dead, it's about those that moved on, but also it's a great time to maybe petition. I'm looking out the window, guys. Oh, I saw the UPS truck or Amazon truck. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting a package. They moved away. Wonk wonk. Anyway, yeah, but this is a great time to focus on that. So I'm giving you 2 weeks to think about it. If you haven't been thinking about it and you've been meaning to think of it, now's the time. And while doing so, please use a notebook. Now, this is a cute little notebook I picked up at TJ Maxx. It was only $5 with tax. It's like 501 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, get a notebook or some reference, or if you prefer a computer, that's fine. But something where you're writing all this stuff down. If it's coming to your head now, go ahead and write it down. What are my magical goals? What are my witchy goals? What are my goals for my witchcraft? It's the Witch's New Year. Again, I can't stress that enough. So this is the time to sort of think about it. Yes, excuse me, I realize that we're in a retrograde, Mercury retrograde right now. And that comes with its own host of issues. I experienced my own little crazy setback yesterday where I kind of just lost it for 2 seconds, probably more like 10 minutes, over something that really in the great scheme wasn't that big of a deal, but it was a combination of hunger and fatigue, and it just made me more susceptible. So with that, you can combat a lot of the negative sides of Mercury retrograde if you just do a little self-care, amp up your self-care. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure your diet is balanced as possible. Make sure that you are taking time for yourself to meditate, to quiet your mind, find quiet activities. It's okay for stimulation. I just got done watching Lovecraft Country, the season finale yesterday. If you guys are not watching that, you really should. And that definitely got me up, got me amped. However, it's okay to be inspired, and it makes me think of all different types of things. I'm talking about different universe and all this stuff. Watch the show, you got to get into it. The thing is, though, there's room for that. There's room for, media to stimulate my mind and to make me think a little bit. There's room in my schedule, in my life, for media that maybe doesn't evoke that much emotion. It's more like I'm just sitting back and being entertained. I'm okay with that. I minimize that type of media, by the way. That's not always good because you kind of get a little not smart. It dumbs you down, to be honest with you. And then there are times where I kind of just let my mind and my thoughts sort of expand and take over and allow the space and a structured time to do that. Throughout the day as much as I possibly can, where it's brainstorming. That's when it's good to have notebooks and things like that for the purposes of doing like brain dumps. A lot of times we have ideas, we have the answer to a lot of our issues, a lot of things that we say aren't working in our life. We have access and resources right up here to resolve it. Unfortunately, you're just not giving yourself enough time to do so. So why am I saying all this? Because you want to be in a right headspace when you're working rituals in general, but specifically I think this is kind of a big deal holiday. Hey, Elite Taken's going live. I think it's a big deal. So I think it's important to ground yourself and have yourself as balanced as you possibly can. We're all dealing with different things. There's different, we all have different life stressors and other stuff going on that could really occupy a lot of our headspace, a lot of our emotions, and get us wrapped up. but you have control. And if you're practicing witchcraft, you really understand more than anybody just how much you have control you have over your mind. And more importantly, what happens, the consequences, if you relinquish too much of that control and just let thoughts run and just let media and other things just infiltrate your mind and just influence and manipulate you as you will. This hair, I'm trying to do another side and it's just not cooperating. Anyway, the point is, it's important to be in the right headspace. I know this is something I'm, listening to myself. I'm going to be making sure I take the time, do a little bit more meditation, put on meditative music just in the background, really low. It's there, I can hear it, but not really, that type of thing. And escape a little bit more to my made-up world that I'm doing for the book that I'm writing. And that level of escapism is even better. Also, if you want to read, this is a great time to me to read some fiction, some witchy fiction, things like that. Leading up to, one, it kind of puts you in a vibe of witchcraft, and two, there's less room for outside stuff because you're really focused on that book and what's going on in this other world, and you can choose to identify with characters or not. The point is, it's a free-for-all, but it's escapism, which is kind of good. You don't want too many other influences. Structure and narrow down the influences that you're willing to have in your life over the next 2 weeks. Again, it is Mercury retrograde, so you have to be careful with your overall energy in general, because things could be miscommunicated, misconstrued, and so forth. So that's my little spiel on that. So, try to leading up, let's try to ground ourselves. Now, a couple things that I won't be doing. This is not the time for me to petition for any sort of spells where I'm like getting something, if that makes any sense. At least that's not traditionally how I go about it. You can do what you want, but like if money, love or healing, all that sort of stuff, I typically wouldn't focus on that on Samhain. Typically, I don't do that. For me, it's all about witchcraft for me, and ancestor reverence, and just those, the dead, the past, and communicating and understanding messages is more about communication, which is why it's going to be tricky because, this whole retrograde situation. So that's why you need to write everything down, especially from readings, dreams, anything that you're getting where they're coming through. The veil is thinning, guys. Write everything down as best as you can. If you notice there's certain behaviors in yourself, your mood, something is just kind of influencing your mood a little bit more, whether it's a certain scent, a fragrance, or something that triggers your memory about a deceased relative or someone, that's passed on, doesn't have to be a relative. All of that sort of stuff, like those are all triggers, and they're around this time, those triggers are probably going to be a little bit more plentiful. So again, write that stuff down, because you don't want to try to remember. Communication, guys, it gets a little wonky right now. So write everything down, because this is something you're going to be reflecting on, not just now, or the day, but you're going to be looking at this throughout the year, because you might get some messaging that'll affect you going forward, more than a year later. But the point is, get everything recorded so there's no confusion, including stuff leading up to now. So go run it by your notebooks if you don't have any. Start a journal, open up Word, something to get everything going. So that's that. So again, if you're trying to get a little bit more on board on what the heck, what's the difference between Samhain and Halloween, check the resources for those books in the link, because I think they do a great job of explaining what it is, the lore, where it comes from, and so forth. And then finally, to just address this, because I feel like it needs to be addressed, because I know that a long time ago this was something that was on my mind and it plagued me, especially if you're newer to this, to witchcraft, or you've been practicing and this has just been something that's kind of been getting to you. When you do research, and if you use the resources I gave you at the bottom in the description about this Samhain and what it means and where it originated from, if you are not of that lineage, that ethnicity, or that, or whatever, that culture, it might seem like cultural appropriation, or basically you're dabbling in stuff that really isn't for you. It's for them. It's not for you. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you that, no, don't feel that way. That's wrong. Feel how you want to feel. That's fine. You can also have reverence for people and their culture without appropriating. So, you know, us celebrating parts of it, let's say if, you know, we made certain crafts and things like that that tend to be Celtic in nature, or, you know, certain practices that they do. To me, that's just giving respect and honor to it. If I came on here saying I created it and this is my people and this is, you know, and I went into this whole, you know, thing about, you know, how this is basically mine and I own it, well then yeah, we got a problem. You know, no, that's not all right. However, again, which I've spoken about in other videos, my ancestry, you know, my blood does go into, I do have connections to those who would consider themselves Celtic, you know, Irish, and then Scotland, and also Wales. I do have lineage that connects me to that area, so I don't feel like I'm appropriating anything. I feel like this is something I choose to do. Now, on that note, as an African American, I think it's tricky for us practicing these pagan beliefs, right? Because the conversation comes up around whether or not we should instead be embracing African traditional religion or African spirituality only, and forsake anything, you know, what is now classified as Wiccan, New Age, and Celtic, and all that sort of stuff, or even Norse. And again, I'm not going to tell you what you can't do and what you should do and all that sort of stuff. That's on you. If you feel that way, and I actually know people who do really feel that way and it resonates with them, then it resonates with you, then do what you're going to do. That makes sense. That's your call. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm talking about people exclusive, you know, like exclusively practice that, you know, maybe they've gone as far as in the process of being initiated or are initiated and so forth, or they hold a certain title. That's fine. I think that's great. You probably aren't really into this channel anyway, if that's the case, because I'm not really talking too much about that, because I don't follow any specific religion that requires initiation and so forth. I'm out here solo in this witchcraft thing, okay? That's how I'm doing it. I don't try to share or teach in a way where I know about everything that is in ATRs or you know, Orishas and so forth. Yes, I'm very familiar. I'm not just familiar. I have knowledge, and there's room in my practice for some of that, but also it's not all of my practice. So just to kind of clear that up a little bit, there is no guilt there. At one point I had to process that, to be honest with you, because, you know, again, it's a unique perspective being African American. Most likely your bloodline is diluted with some European, just because of the nature of how we got here and all that happens once we got here. So yeah, it is what it is, to be honest with you. That's our history. We can't change that. And how do I reconcile it? Well, why are you following something that someone probably who raped your ancestors or something like that? Look, that is something I had to have my own come to Mika moment with, come to ancestors moment with, because the reality of it is that is part of it, but also there was consensual situations in my family line anyway. I don't want to get too much into the consent and rape of my ancestors. However, what I will say is that I know, because I have had connections and communed with my ancestors, that I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. I feel like they've co-signed, guided, and led me to the point, and I still feel like I'm being led further. So to try to explain in a 2020 explanation as an African American, using all the right words, all the right sayings, and, you know, keeping it real politically correct. I don't know how to do that other than to tell you that I'm doing what I feel like I was led to do. And that's on that. that's all I got. So I'm going to be celebrating Samhain, and I'm very grateful to be able to do so. You know, I live in a place where I can do this, and I can feel free, and I can be on YouTube doing it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm grateful for all that. And that's just how I feel, because I realize there's other people in other countries, they could never, not on this level, just out and out, call themselves a witch and all that sort of stuff. I'm very grateful for that, with all the challenges, and there are numerous challenges of living in this country, numerous. That is one that I'm actually very grateful for. That's something I can say without any malice or anything behind it. I'm very grateful for that, because I enjoy living my life out loud and being a witch and practicing witchcraft and all that sort of stuff. So, enough about that. So again, what is going to be on Saturday? Let me look at my phone. How am I not knowing the exact day, right? I'll stay with me. Saturday. I kept thinking it was Friday. Saturday, October 31st is when I'm going to go live. And I'll set up a premiere thing momentarily for that, probably like a week before. Or, yeah, like a week before I'll set it up. I don't know if it lets me set it up sooner than I'll find out. You'll see. That's why you got to get the alert bell. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Share this. It's my first time going in, so I don't know. We'll see what happens and how it goes. But there'll be cocktails, so it should be fun. All right, so that's all I'm talking about on this video today. And look for more videos. Again, everything is all about prepping for Samhain or Halloween. Thanks again for watching. I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. Please like and subscribe. And again, if you've subscribed already, I really appreciate it. And thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.